real estate scares the hell out of them. Well, what if I don't find anybody to fix the property?
I know all the answers.
Well, help me, I'm stuck.
Folks, today I got Kevin Fuqua with me. He's one of my very good friends that I met some 15, 20 years ago. Wow.
Probably 15, somewhere around there.
Cheers, my man.
Cheers, amigo.
He was one of the first guys that I met when I was traversing the appraisal stages up in the Ann Arbor area. And he befriended me and put me down, kept me out of getting in trouble, answered my questions when I had them.
Respect.
And so today, he's going to continue that process, and he's going to share with us, some of the things that he's been into. Okay, so what one of the things that's interesting to me is that even though I know, and we all know, that generally speaking, real estate is one of the ways that the wealthy stay wealthy and get even wealthier. Mm-hmm. We know that from a book standpoint, but for whatever reason, it seems like a lot of the people that I come across, especially in my age group, as they're approaching that, they're not retiring yet, but it's in the sight, right? As they're starting to see that real estate scares the hell out of them.
Again.
Because it's so many in their head, it's so many unknowns. Well, what happens if, in terms of flipping? Well, what if I don't find anybody to fix the property? I don't know, wholesale it. What if I don't know how to wholesale? How do you get around that?
For me personally, I don't think about it. I mean, dude, I'm over 60, right? So I'm over 60. It's not that I don't think about it. It's not like it comes into my head and I force it out. I don't want to say that I know all the answers, because I don't. But I'd say probably 90% of the problems that people would run into, either A, I've encountered them, or B, I know how to work around them, or C, I put plans in place so I don't run into them.
That's right.
Right? That's right. So it doesn't scare me when people tell me about a property that, you know me, if the property's damn near falling down, I still may be interested in buying it. I get excited. The worse condition of the property, the more excited I get, because I know I'm going to get a deal. But with that said, I do my due diligence, right? So part of that due diligence in buying real estate is all the inspections you do on the front end of the property. Now, it's always, for me, money well spent. I can spend $400 or $500 to determine I don't want to buy the property. But that's rare for me. And I'll use you as an example. So all the properties you've shown me, I think I bought them all, right?
One or two you did.
Right?
Hurt my feelings. I had to go find somebody else, but that's okay.
Well, I keep asking you, what do you got, man? Send me more property.
True. You do.
Yeah, I just asked you the other day, what else you got, man? But I know enough about inspecting, and that comes from being a real estate agent and going through home inspections with a home inspector. And typically, I personally use the same home inspector because he's been in the business 40 years and he knows everything.
Property investors, specifically real estate investors, really don't know how to value property. They don't. They just simply do not know how to value property the way banks do. Hey folks, how you guys doing today? Jimmy Roberts here. And after 30 years in the real estate business, over 20 years of that being in the appraisal business, the one thing that I know is for sure, the 5 biggest mistakes that real estate investors make that keep them from making big profits on their flips and in their investments in general. And I'm making that available to you. All you have to do is click the link below, and there you go. This is Jimmy Roberts. Get the 5 biggest mistakes that real estate investors make, and you can get it below. See ya.
So he's taught me a lot. So when I walk into a property like any of your properties, I can walk into them and do a mini home inspection on the front end, right? To know enough to say, hey, I want to take the next step. And that's basically putting it on the contract and then doing a further in-depth inspection of the property, right? So at that point, I'm already putting my numbers together in my head. Am I going to have to put a new roof on the house? Look at the roof. Am I going to have to put a new driveway? And we talked about this with the property we're working on right now. And then I know where I can get, if I got to put windows in the property, I know where I can buy windows at a good price, where it makes sense for me to put new windows in the house. Flooring, drywall. I got good painters. I have a paint company, but the paint company owner is also an investor partner of mine, so I can get a great paint job done at a reasonable price.
Deal.
That was something that just came into into being for me. I have a good electrician. I have a couple of electricians that I work with. So, and then I know when I'm looking at a property from those particular disciplines, what I'm going to need, right? Because most properties I buy, they're functionally obsolete in terms of the kitchens, especially. They typically don't have all of the new amenities electrically to, that people are looking for. They may not have a dishwasher. So if it doesn't have a dishwasher, I've got to go in and wire for that. And then you've got to have separate wiring for your garbage disposal, all of the electrical requirements that's code. So I understand, I have a basic understanding of that. So when I walk in, I know it, and I know what it's going to cost to do it. So it doesn't frighten me. So I know that stuff. So I guess to answer your question, why those things don't confuse and confound and worry me is because I've gone through it enough times over the years, and then I have enough people in my quiver that if I something I don't know, I can call them. I can call my buddy as a home inspector and just ask him questions right off the top. What do I do about this? What do I do about that? And he can give me resources like the roof. He looked at the roof on that house and he said, you got 5 years left on it. You don't have to replace it. I was looking at replacing the roof, which he said, no, that saved me $6,000.
Yeah.
Because he looked at it and said, I don't have to do it. He said, put this stuff on the roof, wet and forget, and your roof is fine. You got to change.
For $100, you save 6,000.
I saved $6,000, right? And so, but the other thing with him is he understands government guidelines, right? He understands FHA guidelines, which you and I talked about.
Yep.
We may get into it in this call or not, but at some point, investors are going to have to understand that, because that's when I buy my properties to sell them. I'm selling typically to first-time home buyers, and they're typically FHA buyers, and I know I'm going to have to pass an FHA appraisal inspection.
I'm not ready.
And so when I do my properties, I make sure that when they're complete, that they will pass that inspection the first time, right off the bat. And then I have enough people in my quiver that if I something I don't know, I can call them. But I know enough about inspecting, and that comes from being a real estate agent and going through home inspections. And then I know when I'm looking at a property from those particular disciplines, what I'm going to need.
So with that, Kevin, I'm going to catch up with you later, my man.
All right, brother. Take care. Thanks.
No, thank you.
Not a problem. Take care.